Hey, it's your guy Tyrrell back with the interviews. Chelsea, Manchester City, the league leaders against the previous champions. How would it go down? Would Chelsea be able to stop Manchester City? Would City prove that they are the best team ever in the Premier League? Why not? What a better way to do it than against Conte's Chelsea side that broke records last season and revolutionized the Premier League? Who would get the job done? How would they do it? Don't worry, here at the interviews, we've got you covered. So on this edition of the interviews, I'm going to briefly break down Manchester City against Chelsea. So when we briefly break down Chelsea against Manchester City, we have to think, could Chelsea be the second team to beat Manchester City in the league? How would City be able to cope with the Chelsea side who look equipped for games of this stature? When we look at the board, we got Chelsea in the blue, we got City in the red. No real changes from City. 4-3-3, Aguero, Sané, and Bernardo Silva up front. Obviously, Fernandinho's not fit yet, so Gundogan played at midfield with Kevin De Bruyne and David Silva. Chelsea more in a 5-4-1. It should have been the 3-4-2-1, but instead it was more of a 5-4-1 with Hazard up front, Willian and Pedro on the flanks, Fabregas and Drinkwater in midfield. What went right? What went wrong? Well, for Chelsea, it was a bit sluggish. They didn't really press on the ball. They were focusing on compacting the space in midfield, kind of what they did against Barcelona. It was pretty much a carbon copy of the system they played then, but Barcelona struggled to really get anything going there. City, however, a much smarter side, more tactically inept this season in terms of more tactically suited to get across these issues and stop these issues. And how did they do that? Well, they had Silva drifting there, they had De Bruyne drifting into these areas, and they were still wary of the counterattack. It was still a pragmatic approach where Zinchenko and Kyle Walker stayed narrow, and they kind of formed something of a diamond for the most part, because Hazard was up front, and you had the two wingers there, you had the center backs there, and there was a bit of a box there, whereas City kind of attacked in 5. So that's basically what it was. And then if anyhow Sané went central, Zinchenko would cover and provide the width, and vice versa on the opposite flank. But City never really created any chances, clear-cut chances in that regard in the first half. When you look at it, Silva was getting into these spaces, trying to get onto the ball, as was De Bruyne. We think about their great chances in the first half. You think about the Sané individual run that was sent to Bernardo when he skied it. There were chances where the De Bruyne free kick, and it fell to Sané at the edge of the box on the far post, and it was cleared off the line by Azpilicueta. But apart from that, Chelsea did the job that Conte asked of them. There was just no real intensity, no pressure, no one pressing Gundogan, so he had time to really control the tempo of the game. When they did try to press, it didn't work out in their favor. There was one time where Drinkwater stepped out, and easily Silva was found in that pocket of space and tried to slide the ball into Sané, but it was overhit. But besides that, you ask more of Chelsea because you expect them to press more, you expect them to hit them on the counterattack. With Eden Hazard up front, it doesn't really do any justice, and he didn't look like he was really trying to play that position to a T. There obviously space in the channels where maybe a Morata would have attacked and that would have went well, but Hazard didn't get there. And it was the fact that they didn't really get much on the counterattack like they did against Barcelona, where Willian was pivotal, Pedro was pivotal. Pedro throughout the game had plenty of chances on the counterattack to play balls into Hazard, to play balls into Willian in the channels, but his passing was poor throughout, and it was shocking that he stayed on the field for so long. Whereas City, when you look at it, the first half, they dominated possession, they controlled the tempo of the game, but not too many clear-cut chances. In the second half, they obviously started it well, a Christensen error, which led to an overlap, and Bernardo to kind of knee the ball into the net. But after that, they really took the game to Chelsea. They pressed when Chelsea tried to play out the back, and the front three would press them in, and then the wing-backs would push wide, but then you would have the center midfielders push onto the center midfielders, and from there Chelsea could never really get out of the box from that aspect. And it was just a really damning indictment on how good City are in terms of where they're not playing at their best, but they can outpass you, they can outwit you in that sense. And Chelsea's counterattack really struggled for the most part. Hazard wasn't involved, Willian and Pedro weren't able to really break on in transition, Fabregas and Drinkwater didn't have space to play passes, and the center backs weren't able to step forward like like they normally do in other games where they have time to move forward up the pitch. And City bogged them down in the second half, pressed throughout. Chelsea tried to play out the back on a few occasions. When they did get past the press, obviously the counterattacks didn't go through. And when City did press them in, they forced them into errors, and they went back the other way and continued to dominate possession. You obviously want more from De Bruyne and Silva in that respect and creating more chances, but Chelsea did a good job. When they moved there was always a trio of three that were marking them out of the game, and when Silva moved there was always a trio of three, so they were outnumbered 2v3 or 1v3. And like I said, Chelsea's shape deserved credit with the work ethic and possibly playing Eden Hazard deeper, but at that same time, does he offer you the work rate and the discipline that Willian and Pedro do? Probably not, and that's probably why, to keep his best player on the field, Conte puts him there. But this was heads and above City, a better side than Chelsea. They proved it here, stifled them out of the game, scored a pretty fortuitous goal, but at the end of the day, they created enough chances and stifled Chelsea from doing what they want to do, and were worthy winners. But let me know what you guys think. Meet me in the comments below. Don't forget I upload videos every day, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And that was your daily dose of the interviews.